Hello everybody, I'm SolitaryFalcon, and today I'll be going through the worst levels from LEGO Stars for Complete Saga. Last time out I chose the best levels from this game, so do check out that video if you haven't already. So exactly the same as last time, I'll be selecting one level from each of the 6 episodes. If you have gone to enjoy today's video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and do let me know in the comments what the worst level from the Complete Saga is. Right then, let's get into it. So some of you might have thought I'd put the pod race on this list, but to tell you the truth, I actually like the pod racing level. Instead, the one I've chosen to be the worst is Invasion of Naboo. Now I will say that this is not a bad level. Visually the environment looks amazing, especially once you get to the waterfall section, and there's a lot of interesting gameplay to make this a fun level to play through. The level sees you play as Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and you get introduced to everyone's favourite character, Jar Jar Binks. And Jar Jar is actually useful in this level because he has high jump, which comes in handy for the platforming sections. But that is all Jar Jar is really useful for, as he can do no fighting at all, which means you're only going to be playing as one of the 2 Jedi, especially when it comes to doing the Force puzzles and fighting the battle droids. And once you reach the final part, all you have to do to end the level is just walk into the water. That is correct, just walk into the water. And not a lot actually happens in the second level of the game, especially when compared to the first, Negotiations, which is one of the most iconic levels in the Complete Saga, and Invasion of Naboo often gets forgotten about. So Invasion of Naboo has very little replayability, and is definitely the weakest level in the Phantom Menace, which is why it is taking the spot on this list. Now I know I said I would do one level for each episode, but I had to put these next 2 on this list, and they are Bounty Hunter Pursuit and Gunship Cavalry. These 2 levels sum up vehicle missions in the early LEGO games. Starting with Bounty Hunter Pursuit, and fun fact, this was not in the original LEGO Star Wars game, but introduced for the Complete Saga. Similar to Invasion of Naboo, this level does look visually stunning, with it being set on Coruscant, but that's as far as the positives go. This level sees you follow Zam Wesell before being trapped in this mini arena, and this is where we are introduced to the goddamn torpedoes. You are limited in the number of torpedoes allowed, and you will use them up really quickly, so you have to keep going back and resupplying in order to escape the area. And once you continue in chasing Zam, guess what? You have to do it all over again, this time with even more generators to blow up. And this just makes the level really repetitive and slow, considering it's meant to be called Bounty Hunter Pursuit. And at the end of the level you get to have the boss fight with Zam, but I would hardly call it a boss fight. All you have to do is just shoot at her and the health bar just drops instantly. So yeah, Bounty Hunter Pursuit, not a good level. The other level that I mentioned is Gunship Cavalry. Now I will say this version is not as bad as the original, but it's still infamous. The speed in the original version goes by so quickly that you have no time to recover, and it comes with 100% guarantee of dying. In the Complete Saga, we were introduced to something much worse: bombs. You have to tow these bombs in order to destroy the generators to progress through the level. Unfortunately, there are so many enemies around that it's very likely they will get caught in one, so you have to go all the way back to the beginning. And if you happen to die along the way, you have to painfully watch your bomb slowly roll away. And the final section is probably the worst part of the level, as you have to destroy these blue generators. So before you can get to the generators, you have to blow up the laser turrets with, guess what? More bombs. And with the final section being set in this 360-degree area, it makes towing the bombs even more difficult, as you have to be extra precise in order to blow up the laser turrets. And Gunship Cavalry is iconic for being one of the worst levels in all of LEGO games, and that's why it definitely deserves to be on this list. Now I was tempted to put General Grievous on here, but I actually don't mind this boss fight. Instead, the level I've actually chosen is Ruin of the Jedi. This level had so much potential, but it ended up being disappointing. So you play as Obi-Wan and Yoda, and you have to infiltrate the Jedi Temple. So you start outside the temple, where you have to fight the disguised clone troopers, who I thought are one of the most unnecessary characters in the game, and this is the only time they appear in the entire level. The appearance of the temple is actually quite amazing, especially when you make your way inside. There is one section where you get to go in the Jedi Council room, and this is where you get one of the mini kits. The main enemies you'll be fighting are the clone troopers, but because you're Obi-Wan and Yoda, you can take them out with relative ease, which makes the combat sections in this level quite disappointing, considering this is meant to be based on Order 66. But the worst part of this level is the platforming section. So you're in this area where you have to use the force to open these ledges, and you have to reach the top in order to pull the lever. However, these ledges don't stay open for long, so you have to make your way to the top very quickly, otherwise you'll have to start all over again. What's worse is that you have to do this 3 times. Personally, I would have preferred the level where you get to fight Palpatine as either Mace Windu or Yoda. Ruin of the Jedi could have been a good level, but it ended up being a massive disappointment, and that is why it's taking the spot on this list. This next level I should thank Rugged Eagle for, as this could be one of the hardest levels in the complete saga, and that goes to Death Star Escape. The second part of the Death Star level after rescuing the princess has so many frustrating elements to it. Once you've made it out of the trash compactor, you end up in this room where you get to fight lots of stormtroopers, which is fun if you're either Han Solo or Chewbacca. Once you've done this, you have to get to the other side of the room, where we are introduced to the yellow car. You have to drive this car over the red panels, which can get really annoying, and only through luck can you get it first time. The other frustration is the stormtrooper helmets. You have to get these from a machine in order to open the doors, but every time you get hit by an enemy or accidentally fall, you have to go all the way back to find the machine to equip a helmet. The level does capture iconic moments from the movie, such as grappling to the other side of the room, or the area where you get to fight all the stormtroopers. And the final part of the level is where things get really challenging as you try and release the Millennium Falcon. So you have to go to the panels which are hidden in the area, but in order to do this, you have to switch between all the different characters, which can sometimes drag the level out. Not to mention you're going to be coming up against a lot of stormtroopers. And guess what? The yellow car makes a comeback. Yes, the same one that was used at the beginning of the level. And what I didn't realise is if you go across the panels, it doesn't always register, so you have to do it over again just to be sure. Death Star Escape is probably one of the more frustrating levels in the complete saga, after Gunship Cavalry of course. So the vehicle levels are the weakest part in the complete saga, and this next level is no exception, and that goes to Falcon Flight. So the level starts with you destroying the turrets of the Star Destroyers, and this section is okay, but you will die a lot and it's very difficult to collect the studs. But the worst part of this level is the asteroid field, and here things get very repetitive. So you have to destroy the small asteroids in order to get the torpedoes. That's right, the torpedoes make a comeback. And once you've got enough torpedoes, you have to go and destroy the 4 targets. Unfortunately, you have to go all the way back to destroy more small asteroids in order to progress through the level. The worst part is the final section, where you have to destroy the big asteroid. The torpedoes don't always hit the target and sometimes bounce off. What's worse is you have so many enemies around you that when you die, you have to gather your torpedoes quickly, otherwise they will disappear. The fact that going into the space worm is the highlight of this level tells you everything you need to know. The slow pacing and repetitive nature makes Falcon Flight a worthy mention for this list. As I said in my best levels of a complete saga, Return of the Jedi probably has the best levels out of all of the episodes, but there is one that is particularly weaker than the others, and that goes to Speeder Showdown. Now this is a weird level because there is a mix of platforming and vehicle gameplay. So what you have to do is get on a bike, chase the speeders, then occupy a walker to destroy the generator. Simple enough? Not in this level. In order to progress through the level, you have to do the speeder chase not once, not twice, but 5 times. What's worse is the shooting is really terrible. Even Gunship Cavalry has better accuracy, and that says a lot. The more times you do the chase, the more speeders that turn up, and they will try and jump over and shoot back at you. Also, there are 6 mini-kits in this section alone, so you have to go around and around in circles until you get all of them. The area where you have to use the walkers to destroy the generators is probably the best bit, as each time requires a different puzzle in order to acquire one. My favourite is when you have to build the bridge and walk it across. The end of the level sees you have a mini boss fight with an AT-AT, where you get to control it and destroy the 4 towers, but this takes a matter of minutes and is incredibly slow. If the chase segment had been reduced to 2 or 3 times, then Speedo Showdown would have been a good level, but that section is just so annoying that it has to take the spot on this list. So those were my worst levels from LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. Let me know below in the comments what your worst level is, and if you've gone to enjoy today's video, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe for more great content. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to see you all very soon.